Alrighty, guys. So my name is Kate with Scott Leroy Marketing. Today we are going to be going over direct mailers in Command. So with that, we're going to take a look at creating a postcard, as well as how to send those out through Command. If you need to refer back to today's class, it is recorded. That will be added to our YouTube channel. I definitely recommend checking out our YouTube, subscribing if you haven't. We put out daily videos on our classes as well as tip videos over new content, things like that that are new with Command. So it's a great place to come to stay up to date on anything new. I definitely recommend checking out that videos tab. It's going to give you the most recent uploads. So if you're looking for today's class, this will be right here later today, early tomorrow. Without further ado, though, let's go ahead and jump into Command. So if you're not sure how to get to Command, that website is going to be agent.kw.com. I'm just dropping that in the chat along with the YouTube. You'll go ahead and sign in, username and password. Username is not case sensitive, but your password will be. So if you're not sure, make sure you click that eyeball, take a look at it. Make sure there's no spaces before or after. That will cause an invalid username password error. Or if you don't have your capitals, special characters, all of that good stuff. Now, once this loads, yours may look a little bit different from mine. The homepage of Command is slightly customizable, so it can differ from user to user. Now, with the direct mailers in Command, the first thing that we want to take a look at today is our marketing profile. So I'm going to click next to my name, the little drop down. For the marketing profile, it's actually different from the My Profile. They do get confused a lot. To access the marketing profile, you're going to want to go to Settings. And from Settings, we're going to go to Connect Settings and that marketing profile. Now, this profile, in my opinion, is the most important profile that you have in Command. The reason for that being is that the information in this profile is going to feed over to your website, your consumer app, as well as some of the marketing, like the direct mailer marketing that we're going to be creating today. So that is the reason we want to just make sure that this information is up to date and filled in. You will want to make sure it is turned on. So you've got a little green light saying good to go. You'll want to make sure anything with an asterisk is filled out. So you'll have your photo. The recommended size is that 360 by 360 pixel. If you need any help adjusting that, you can certainly reach out to our support email. We're happy to resize that photo for you. Team logo is not required. We do strongly recommend having a logo there, whether it is just a generic KW logo, your headshot, something along those lines. The reason for that being is that this image does pull to certain pieces of marketing in Command. And if you don't have a photo there, it will look like a broken image when you send that out. Next, your details, so name, license number, things like that. Another one that's not required but super important is that agent license number. That will pull to certain pieces of marketing as well. And in some cases with certain smart plans, you may see an error if you don't have that plugged in. Title, slogan, designations, and credentials, those are all going to be optional. If you have military affiliations, you can include those here. Your bio is going to be required. If you need help writing one, we're happy to do that. You can take a look at our support services on our Scott Leroy website, and we can help with that. Your phone numbers, you're going to want to make sure included, email, and you will also want to make sure you have your website. This is another one not required, but will be needed for certain pieces of marketing you're creating. So super important to add. Make sure it's that full URL. And if you are using your KW website, make sure not to include the www. That will actually cause your website to fail when it's loading. Moving along, you have your market center information. So your market center specific logo, this should be specific to your actual market center, and you can find those logos right here on KW Connect. You'll want to make sure you include all of your market center info over here on the right. If you are in a state or office that requires specific compliance to be added, you'll make sure that gets added in this section here. Whether it's text, links, or images, you can add all of those. Social media links, you can add those. You'll want to make sure those are your public-facing URLs when you grab those. And then your Google Analytics. Once you're all done with your marketing profile and everything is up to date, do make sure you hit that save button to make sure all of those changes are updated. The next thing we're going to do, you guys, is we're actually just going to head over to campaigns. So if you're not sure where campaigns is, you can hover over these various applets on the right or left-hand side. You can also hit the red and white KW to view those. Again, we're going to head to campaigns. That's where our direct mailers are and where we can create one. Next, we're going to head to this. We're on the entire campaigns dashboard. We're going to take a look at direct mailers. This is where you can view any past direct mailers you've sent or drafted, gotten started with, etc. So you can search for specific direct mailers. You can filter those based on whether they were mailed, drafted, archived, or all of those. You can search by specific goals. So if you were looking for a specific direct mailer you've created in the past, you can filter to that. You also down below have the overview, which is going to be the name of the postcard that you created. You'll have a preview, the status of that postcard. So if it was mailed or whatnot, you'll have that here. The date that that was created or date sent. Usually the date sent is going to be the day you created it, and the date mailed will be when those were sent out. Any leads, recipients, the goal of the direct mailer that you created. And then you have three little options over here to edit, duplicate, or archive. Up above, you have payments. This is where you can hit create. And then, of course, you have month, date that you've sent, recipients, leads, and how much money spent. And you can scroll down, view more of those. You can go all the way over, whatever you want to do. But let's go ahead and get started on creating one. So we're going to hit create campaign. And this is where we want to select direct mailer. And from there, you're going to want to give your direct mailer a title. Now, this title is internal. Nobody's going to see what you have it called except for you. So I'm going to name it September 26th, so I know when I made it. Then I get to decide what my purpose of my postcard is. So what am I sending them? Am I emailing my database to invite them to an event? Let's say we're having a pumpkin patch gathering, and they can invite all of their family. Are we advertising a listing, attracting listings? Are we just doing brand awareness? You're going to want to decide what your purpose of your postcard is. For today, we're going to go ahead and do advertise a listing first. And once I have that, I'm going to go ahead and hit create campaign. Now from there, because I did advertise a listing, it's going to pop up to allow me to search for my listing. If you selected one of the other types, this may not pop up. Like event awareness, this won't pop up. You can still select a listing for those if you need to. But when we specifically do advertise a listing, this will be the first thing. Now, once we're there, we can search for the property address by the address, the MLS number, or the listing agent. You can search based on the status of the listing. So it's going to have all of the various statuses you can have. And then you can search by only my listings or all listings. So if you're doing a open house or something for another agent, and you wanted to send a postcard to the area, you could still search for any listing. I'm going to search by property address. We do recommend using the MLS number if you have it. But since I don't have any listings, we're just going to use the address. Oops, and I'm typing address instead of what I wanted to type. My brain. We're just going to pick one today. We'll just go with this one here. Now, once I do that, you'll see that I have my listing selected here. If I grab the wrong one by accident, I can still change that. I can go back up if I need to change my goal of my postcard. And then over on the right-hand side, I am going to have a preview of the postcard as I'm creating it. So we're going to head to the next option, which is content. So I'm going to hit that little drop down. Here is where you get to decide, are you going to use the pre-made templates that are provided, or do you want to upload a custom template that you created in Command, Canva, Photoshop, wherever else you can create templates? You can also upload one. We're going to first take a look at the default, and then if we have time, we will come back to uploading a custom one. We then have the template type or size. They do have different looks to them. We'll come back to this. Let's go ahead and select our photo first. So we have listing details. It's going to pull in the address and all of the information from the listing, from the MLS. We do need to decide the listing status. So is it just listed, just sold, coming soon? I'm going to go ahead and do just sold. You can edit the description. Of course, we are going to need to edit this because we are way over our character limit. So when it is pulling in, you do need to pay attention to that. I'm just going to delete a bunch of it. And then we're going to go ahead and select our listing photo really quick. So I do have the option to upload. If the listing is mine and I have my own photo, I can grab that here. I can also click listing image, and this is going to allow me to pull in the one from the MLS. So I'm going to go ahead and just grab, we'll do this front one. Now you will notice that they have a low resolution on all of the photos here. The reason for that being is when it's pulling in these photos are going from the MLS to KWLS and from KWLS into the editor that we're using to create this. So in that process of going through all of those, it is losing a little bit of quality. Generally not a problem, but it does need to let you know low resolution just in case. As you can see, now that I've selected my photo, I have a better preview of what that looks like. That will allow me to determine if I want to use a different photo or if I like the one that is there. With these, you can't zoom in or adjust that really, so how you see it is how it is. But now let's take a look at these templates, because now that we have a photo, it gives us a better visual of the different types. So we have the compact template that it's currently on, which is a 4x6 postcard. We have the default template, which is a 6x9. If we click on that one, you'll see that it does look a little bit different. We can also view the back. We can view the large template modern, which is a 6x11. A little bit different there. Back is slightly different as well. And then we also have the large template contemporary, which is again a 6x11. So I like to wait till we have the photo just because it does give you a better preview of what the postcards look like. You can't really see the gradient here when you don't have a photo. So you get to decide which one you like the best. I'm going to go ahead and leave it on the one that we're on. So the contemporary large template, which is a 6x11. From there, we can, again, if we need to change our photo, get a different one. Let's say we didn't like how this photo was adjusted here. We could, of course, crop that and upload it as a regular photo if we wanted to. But if we keep going down, you'll notice that we have our agent information here. Now, this is why we take a look at the marketing profile really quick. This is where all of that information is pulling from. Now, you can still, of course, adjust it here, but because it pulls into so many different things, if it's wrong here, you're most likely going to want to update it in your marketing profile. We can also adjust the cropping. Again, replace it if you need to. It's going to have your first, last name, email, and phone number. When you're in the phone number, you just want to click into that box and use your space bar so that it will adjust the phone number accordingly. And then we can go ahead and save. Now it's going to let me know again, hey, your photo that you're using is low resolution. Real Mailers is not responsible for low quality postcards. So just giving you another heads up, letting you know if you choose to use that, they're not responsible. Now next is market center information. This is where, again, all of this information is going to pull from our marketing profile. The only thing you need to add is if there is the only thing you need to add is the zip code. So I'm going to go ahead and type that in. If you need to swap any of that information, you certainly can. It's then going to have you verify. And if the address is incorrect, it's going to give you another option. It will allow you to confirm that. And as you can see, we now have a green check mark for that section as well. Now our next section is targeting. This is going to be based on the listing itself. So it's using the listing address. If you want to adjust that, you certainly can. But that's going to be up to you. Let's find our, I don't know where I pulled this post or this state, so we're just going to grab one. I don't remember where that listing was from. No. Yeah, see, that's not one. Okay, well, we're just going to pick one. You can again adjust this address if you want to. That's totally up to you. You'll also notice that you have the option to target my database. We will take a look at that when we do a custom template and upload that. So we will come back to that one, but we're going to go ahead and hit save. Now the next part here is our budget. So this is where we get to decide how many postcards we want to send out, and it's going to give us the dollar amount. So you can either adjust this based on how many you want to send, or if you have a set budget that you'd like to spend, you can adjust that way as well. So if I'm trying to get to a certain budget, I can just adjust this until I get to it. It is letting me know each postcard. There is also first class if you want to adjust that as well. Let's say our budget is 200, we'll just go up, stop right there. Once we're done and we have what we want, we can hit save. Now there's one last thing I want to show you on here before we go to the next page. You'll see that there is a QR code. So when you're sending these postcards, there's not really a way to capture leads per se. So we like to show you the option to include a QR code, because then they have the ability to scan that QR code and go to whatever website you're directing them to and fill out their information. So it's a great way to capture leads through your direct mailers. So if we turn that on and we decide where we want them sent to, so do we want them going to our agent website? Do we want them going to our branded app link? Do we have a specific landing page we want them to go to? All of that. I'm going to go ahead and send them to the app link in hopes that they'll sign up and I'll get a notification of a new lead. Once I turn that on, you're going to want to go to the back preview and you'll see that we now have a QR code that's generated that is put there. Once we're done with that though, we can then go ahead and do configure targeting. Are you sure you want to create this campaign? We're going to go ahead and hit yes. As that's loading, I'm just going to take a look at the chat. No, we're actually looking now at targeting a specific neighborhood based on the listing address. So you can send it to your database, but you can also target specific neighborhoods for farming or advertising, listing, whatever you want to do. And that makes sense. I grabbed a Canada address. So unfortunately, we might go back. The direct mailers, the MLS in Canada doesn't really allow us to create those. So let's go ahead and switch our listing really quick. We'll just grab this one in Texas. Remove. We're just going to grab this front one just so we have a photo. Let's trim this down. Sorry about that, guys. I didn't realize that I had a Canada listing. Okay, we'll go back to configure. That should, before we go, let's make sure that the address changed. Yes, okay. So you'll see that it changed the address based on the listing that I chose. So let's go ahead and configure. That's better. Okay, so this is where you get to get very specific and detailed on who you want to target when you're sending these postcards out. So as you can see, I have the number of homes here, so I can still adjust how many postcards or people I want to send these to. I can also set all of these different settings. So I can choose if I just want to include single family homes. You'll see that my map over here adjusts when I do that. I can also decide if I just want to target multifamily homes, and you'll see the map is going to adjust when it does that. With that, let's see if I can find one really quick. These are great examples. So when we're doing multifamily, there's a lot less dots. As you can see, when I'm clicked on this, it says 5 units right here. Another one said, I think 7. So when you hover over these, it will tell you how many units. So you know how many are actually being sent to that specific dot. You can also remove one if there's one that you don't want. You'll see that it's now gray. I can also restore that. So you can get very specific about who you're targeting. I'm going to go back to all. Now you do also have the option to draw if you're wanting to target a specific neighborhood, excuse me, that's nearby. I can circle in on that specific neighborhood and it will mail those. And again, I can still adjust my number of homes as they're populating. I can reset that. We can also adjust it based on bedrooms. So if we want to target people with 2 or less, if we want to base that on square footage, if we want to change the year that the home was built and the houses that we're targeting based on that, the last time it was sold. We also have the last sold for amount. So you can get very specific as to who you are sending those postcards to. You, of course, can leave this on whatever you'd like if you're wanting to target just the immediate neighborhood. Because obviously the less filters you have, the more right around that home it's going to target. Also, if there's not that many homes in the area, it's going to trim back. So if there's only 50 homes in the area that match the criteria, it's only going to have 50 homes for you to send it to. So it's not going to send out those postcards if the criteria you have does not match. Now down below, you have the option again to adjust the postage. You have the option to send a copy to yourself. You will notice that the dollar amount does change when I check that, and that copy will be sent to your market center. Now, once we're done and we have the homes that we would like to send that postcard to, we can go ahead and hit next. From here, we're given another preview of our postcard and exactly what it looks like. We can also view that in a larger scope, make sure the resolution of the photo doesn't look too terrible. Usually it looks okay. I haven't seen a ton where it's been very distorted or anything. Your description, address, all of the property information, the QR code. This section here will automatically adjust based on the owner of the home. We do get questions, is there a way to export the homes that you've targeted? No, there is no way to export the addresses or the contact information for those homes. There is no contact associated with the addresses. In fact, when it gets mailed out, it will usually say current resident. So there is no way to export those addresses or contacts that those are being sent to. Now down below, you'll have your order summary, the amount of postcards and the cost of those. The postage is included. So when you are sending these postcards, you do not have to grab them and take them to the post office. They're automatically going to go out to those addresses that you have set. You have the order total, and then we have the processing information here. So same day processing. If you submit your order before 3 p.m. on a business day, your mailers are going to go into production that same day at a fulfillment center that is nearest to your targeted area. So nearest to the property. USPS distribution, your cards will be inserted into the USPS mail system within 2 business days. And then the estimated delivery, your mailers are going to arrive in mailboxes to the targeted recipients between 4 to 6 days. Once you submit the order, they will provide you with a more accurate estimate of that time frame. Now over here on the right, we have the payment information. So this is where you can submit that. You can also schedule this for a later date. So if you don't want it to go out, if you're doing like a coming soon or just listed and you want to get these created ahead of time, you can certainly schedule that. Now, keep in mind, that day is when the processing is going to start. So not when they're put into the USPS system and not when they're getting sent to mailboxes. So you do want to account for those days. This date is just going to be when the processing starts. So 9:30 would be when they start to create those. Once you're done, you'll go ahead and hit make payment, and your postcards will go into the mailbox. Just going to check the chat really quick, and then we can take a look at adding a custom template. I have not seen that error, but our first thing is always going to be, are you using Google Chrome? And if you're not, and also to try the incognito mode, because every once in a while when you get an error, trying those two things will clear it. Also clearing cache and cookies, things like that, your history browser, that will sometimes resolve it. If you're still having a problem, email our support email and we can take a look. So I will drop our support email in the chat. If I could type. So the payment screen is still here. I obviously don't have payment information. I'm not going to send this, but you'll just enter your email, card number, expiration, security, and then you'll make payment. All right, we're going to go ahead and go back. And I'm going to take a look at my designs to see if I have a postcard that we can grab and use. Let's go ahead. I think this might be a postcard. Susie, we'll go back through the entire process and how to get back to that payment screen as we create this one. So you will see that in just a second. So I'm not going to edit this postcard, but if you were creating one in Command, as you can see, this is postcard size. It has all of my information. When you are creating your own custom template, you are going to want to make sure that the space over here is good. Because once it's uploaded, there's not a way to adjust that space over there. So you may have to adjust the physical postcard a couple of times if you don't have enough space here. Let me go ahead and swap my logo here. It's not, oh, I wasn't clicked on the right thing. There we go. Let me swap this so you can actually see it. We'll change this color. That didn't work. Apply. There we go. All right, so now I have my postcard. What we're going to go ahead and do is I'm going to download this. And I'm going to just do it as a PNG because anytime you are uploading a custom template, even if it is from Command, you are most likely going to need to resize it. The reason for that being is that when you're creating a design in Command, you are using WeBrand. And when you are sending the postcard in Command, you are using Real Mailers. So unfortunately, the two platforms don't size things exactly correct. So usually you will need to resize those. I'm going to go ahead and download. And it's going to download both pages, front and back. Go ahead and open this. And I always resize my images in Canva because I have a template already in there that is the exact size of what I'm doing. You can also use Image Resizer, and I will drop that link in the chat in case that is what you would prefer to use. But I'm going to go ahead and pull up my Canva really quick. We're going to hit done. Now we are going to go back to campaigns. maybe they are fixing something. Maybe that's why you were seeing that error. Nope. Okay. Well, if you were seeing that error, refresh your screen and see if that will clear it, because it just cleared mine. So refresh is your friend. It does work more often than not, I feel like. We'll go ahead and create campaign again, and we're going to do direct mail again. Now I know I had a listing on this, but we're going to do this as event awareness. So I'm going to do 926 for this one, and we're going to do event and create. Now we can go ahead and go to our content. So we'll get to the size. Give me 1 second. We're going to go to upload custom template, and this is where it will give you those dimensions. So if you're creating one in Canva and you want to set those size first, you can do so by coming in here, create design. I just redid Canva, and you can do custom size. And this is where you can set your dimensions here. So as you can see, I already have one for the 1275 by 1875. That's usually my go-to. So since I already have that sizing, I can go ahead and click that. And once that loads, I'm going to just upload my image that I had from here. So we have this one, and I have my other one. What I'm going to do is do the double. I'm going to drag this in, and then we can close that. Now, as you can see, it's going to be the exact size that I need now when I'm pulling that into here. Now, if you were to try to pull this directly from, and actually, did they remove that option? It looks like they did. Used to, they had an option where you could pull it in from designs, and it looks like they have taken that away because it does not work. So we're going to save this really quickly. I'm going to do share and download. And I'm just going to download this as a JPEG. And we're going to do download. And I know this is double steps because I created it, downloaded it, creating it again, downloading. But you have to resize them, unfortunately, just because of the difference in the platforms. Now, once I have that, I'm going to go ahead and pull up my design right here. And this is my folder that I just downloaded from Canva. And as you can see, I can drag it. Is it not going to let me drag and drop? There we go. Nope, it's grabbing both. Okay, well, we'll skip that. We'll go to browse. And I'm going to go back to my downloads and go into my new folder. I'm going to grab the front one. We will grab the back one. And then as you can see, I have my front and my back. Now, I like to mention on this, you cannot add the QR tracker when you're doing a custom template. So if you want a QR code on your template, you're going to want to create that and add that before you add it to command. It doesn't have that option for the custom templates to add that. So you can certainly add that to your design. And we're going to go ahead and hit save. We're going to go through these next steps. We're just going to go ahead and add all of our information here. This is correct. Targeting. This is where, since this is not pulling from a listing, I either need to add the neighborhood that I'm farming or target my database. Now, if I do target my database, I can add contacts. This is where I can then filter based on tags, or I could just select everyone. Now, as you can see, there's very few people that I can send this to. It has a little exclamation over here. It's not going to allow me to send these to contacts that do not have a primary or mailing address listed. So in order to mail these out to contacts, you do have to have one of those two listed. We'll go ahead and select Minnie Mouse. And we'll go ahead and add to campaign. Now, I can mail this to as little as one person. Let's say I wanted to send this out from their birthday every month. I have a set list of birthdays. I could simply just add those contacts that have a birthday coming up. If I had a tag for like October birthdays or September birthdays, I could just target those people and send just those postcards. So you can send as little as one postcard, or again, you can add more contacts and send that out. Now that I have my contact added, I'm going to hit save. It's going to show me my budget. So I have one postcard and it's 77 cents. The smaller postcards don't usually offer the other postage. And then we'll go ahead and hit save. Now, this is how we get back over to payment. The first thing we want to do is preview. And this is, since I'm just sending this to my contacts, it's not going to have me look at the target map and zone in on specific criteria, because it's just going to the contact that I'm sending it to, or contacts. So again, it gives me the preview. This is where you're going to want to make sure nothing's getting cut off. So I may need to go back and adjust my postcard to make sure that that logo and that text is moved in. This is also where you'll want to make sure that your white space is enough space. So in some cases, you'll have your text or your photo coming into this, and it will overlap because this white box will be on top of your text. So if that were to happen, you would want to go back to your original design, make your edits, and re-upload. Now we just go ahead and check out our order summary. So we have the postcard amount, postage, order total. It's going to give you all of the same processing information. That is always going to be the same. If I want to schedule this, and then I will go ahead and enter my payment information. I do also, again, have the view larger just so I can check it out. Like I said, you may want to, if you had one like this, you may want to go back and adjust it so that's not right on the edge, but that's up to you. Once we're done, we just hit make payment and that will get started. We can go back to configure targeting. Now you'll see I have both of my drafts from today already here. I didn't have to do anything to add them as a draft except for close out of them. And I can, of course, go back and edit, duplicate, archive. That is everything for this class. So we are done a little bit early, which is great because I like to leave plenty of room for questions. In the event something wasn't covered or you'd like to see something specific. So if you have questions, drop those in the chat for me. If you would like to verbalize your question, you can certainly raise your hand and I can take a look at unmuting you. If you don't have any questions and you want to hop off, that is wonderful too. I hope you enjoy getting some of your time back today. And if we can help with anything, please reach out to us at support@scottleroymarketing.com. I'm going to go ahead and stop recording. So if there are any questions, we can go through those.